Hello and welcome to my review of the Lumineth Realm-Lords Scinari Cathallar. This model will set you back a whopping £18.50. Now I think in the unboxing I was drawing comparisons with her price point to the single miniatures that were introduced for the Death Guard almost 3 years ago now. Most of those single elite choices were £15 each. They've now gone up to £17.50 in 3 years. So £2.50 price increase. 3 years ago, I would have expected this model to be the same price point, either £15 or £16. So that's where we are in terms of the pricing. 3 years on, minis that cost £15 are now £17.50. I think she is slightly overpriced. I think when you're getting to this £20 price point now, where you used to be able to get 5 or 10 minis for £20, £25, and you're now seeing them being, well, let's face it, 40 quid. You know, for the Dawn Rider, it's £39.50 now for 5, and they're not really customizable in any way, and neither are the Sentinels or the Wardens. The pricing has steadily gone up, which I guess is the right way to do it if you're going to do it, rather than just, you know, slap on an extra £10 per kit every few years. But still, it's noticeable, and the return in what you're not getting many more spare parts, you're not getting supremely detailed miniatures compared to sort of 3 years ago. And this is one of the reasons why I feel my unboxings and reviews are more beneficial than ever, because these things are expensive, and I understand you've got to be sure whether you want to be sinking this kind of cash onto these miniatures. When you're talking at almost £20 for a single clamshell pack miniature, I completely understand why you'd want to check out a few videos and just find out whether it's worth your while. Now, this model literally took me about 5-10 minutes to build. It comes in the clamshell with this little piece of paper, which gives you the instruction guide and also a paint guide, which is really useful. That's why I'm hanging on to this one. The smoke effects from these gemstones and things, it's just, you know, tells you how to paint them, and the veil as well as her face. So that's really cool. But there we go. That's it really for almost £20. But that's pretty much it. The rules, you don't get any kind of rules in there, and I don't want to bang on about the price for too much, but for almost a £20 miniature, all of the rules is bare minimum. I expect a full paint guide, I expect all the rules, I expect a good instruction manual. I understand the paint guides, you can get them on the community website, but still, when you're talking about that price, yeah, you've got to bring something more to the table now. Anyway, this is the model. Luckily, she is extremely well detailed. She's an absolute beauty of a model. I really fancy the kind of silhouette of her shape of her body in terms of the legs at a lovely V angle, and her feet very close together. She's got a bit of a scenic base going on with this pillar thing, which incorporates the shared aesthetic with your other Lumineth Realm-Lord range models, such as Teclis. I am a big fan of the big sort of chalice thing, bowl thing of sadness. And her dress is very billowy, and I like the attention to detail in terms of where the wind is kind of blowing. The wind is blowing this way. The wind is easterly, I want to say, from this point, I guess, blowing the dress, also the wheat or the plant life, whatever, and the smoke, as well as her veil, and everything else pretty much, like even the little tassels. It's a nice sense of movement of where the wind is coming from and affecting the rest of the model. I like it when Games Workshop do that. Either their sense of movement is affecting their clothing and their stance, or other environmental factors are affecting it. So yeah, stunning model. If I just zoom into her face, you can get a bit of a detail there. I think she's got her eyes closed, holding the chalice and holding this necklace thing. She's got this pointy social distancing measure here, and a massive head headdress type thing that yeah, must weigh a bit, but you know, it is skeletonized at the back, and you get the chalice with a load of gemstones and things in. Really nice mini. Just the price point is, yeah, quite hard pills to swallow, I guess. Let's do some size comparisons. I didn't do any size comparisons with Teclis with my trusted 3 stooges that I normally do, but we'll throw them into this one. So I've got a normal Sentinel and a Warden. So she's taller than both of them. She's gonna, you know, stand higher than your normal infantry. But then compared to Eltharion, she's a little bit shorter. And then a Dawn Rider, likewise, she's just a little bit shorter than both of those models, if you had them in your army or you're thinking about getting them. And finally, just because he's around, I'll put Teclis in, although I don't know how much of a size comparison, how helpful that is. But I guess you could just plonk her on his base or nearby, and that would add to the effect, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's sort of how tall she is compared to Teclis. And then comparing her to other Age of Sigmar models, such as I've got a Chaos Warrior and then a Chaos Lord on a Karkadrak. That's where she stands. She's taller than, yeah, she'll be taller than most of the normal infantry units. And the final size comparison I like to make is just with the 3 models I normally do this with. So we've got a Legacy Space Marine on the left, we've got Sly Marbo in the middle, and then we've got a Primaris on the right. So she is taller than all of them. You know, she's taller than a Primaris by a fair bit, because she's on that scenic base. Without the power armor though, it's odd, isn't it? She's almost the same height, I'd say. I think she's taller than a Space Marine. Anyway, so hope that little size comparison has helped as well. So with renewed hope and vigour, we have now moved into the rules section of my review. She is a leader, and she will set you back 140 points, meaning that she's 10 points more than a normal Alarith Stone Mage. Her stat line reads, she's a movement of 6 inches, 5 wounds, save of 5+, and a bravery of 7. Comparing that to a Stone Mage, same stat line, except the Stone Mage has a little bit better bravery of an 8. A Scinari Cathallar is a single model armed with a Despairing Touch. That's the only weapon she's got. What does this weapon do? Well, it's a melee weapon, it's a range 1 inch, it's 1 attack, 4+ to hit, 2+ to wound, no rend, and damage of D3. Okay, so it's not the best, it's only got a 50-50 chance of hitting anything. Abilities though, this is the reason why you'd pick her. Emotional Transference. At the start of the Battle Shock phase, you can pick 1 friendly Lumineth Realm-Lords unit wholly within 18 inches of this model and roll a dice. On a 2+, do not take a Battle Shock test for that unit. In addition, if any models from that unit were slain during that turn, you can pick 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of this model that has to take a Battle Shock test in that phase. If you do so, add the number of models from that friendly unit that were slain during that turn to the modified Battle Shock roll for that enemy. So it kind of bounces it back on them, really, in the Battle Shock phase. If you've, you know, on a 2+, they don't need to take it. And also, if there were any slain units, then, hey, guess what? The enemy unit has to take that test. Magic. This model is a wizard. It can attempt to cast 1 spell in your hero phase and attempt to unbind 1 spell in the enemy hero phase. It knows the Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and Darkness of the Soul spells. So Arcane Bolt and Mystic Shield, they're on the Warhammer Age of Sigmar app in the core rules. But this Darkness of the Soul is the specific spell for the Cathallar. It has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster and visible to them. Until your next hero phase, roll 2d6 each time that unit makes a normal move, makes a charge move, shoots or fights. Make the roll before the action is carried out. If the roll is greater than that unit's bravery characteristic, that unit cannot perform that action in that phase. Fantastic. That's really going to work well against other armies and units that have those lower bravery stat lines. And they do that each time it does one of those actions, and it just cancels it out, which is brilliant. You don't have to roll a 4+ or 5+ or anything like that. Just roll the 2d6. After you've cast it, you roll the 2d6, and that unit just can't perform that action, which is brilliant. The keywords: Order, Elf, Lumineth Realm-Lords, Scinari, Hero, Wizard, Cathallar. So there you go. That's my review of the Scinari Cathallar. I think she's a lovely looking model. She fits in with the aesthetic of the Lumineth Realm-Lords well. She's not going to wreck face in close combat by any means. The main reason you're going to get her is to get rid of the battle shock tests and bounce them back onto your enemy. And she's a wizard, so she can use the Mystic Shields, the Arcane Bolts, and also the Darkness of the Soul spells. So, cheap leader, cheap little wizard, might not win the game for you, but she's just a lovely addition. What do you guys think of the model and the rules? Please do put it in the comments below, it'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Techless protects.